Hello everyone, my name is Axel Amaya, and today, thanks to a collaboration between Arkansas State University and the New York Institute of Technology, students can start their studies in Mexico and continue with the master's degrees at the NYIT's Jonesboro campus, securing a spot in the doctoral program and the chance to practice in the US. Today, we have the opportunity to interview Dr. Tony Slieman and the admissions staff Colin Thompson. Representatives from the New York Institute of Technology College of Osteopathic Medicine, welcome. It's an honor for us to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
So I'll take some of that. And so one of the hardest things for students to get to is medical school.
Yeah.
It's a challenging thing. It's a highly competitive field and a highly competitive program. So having that connection between Arkansas State Querétaro and NYIT provides a direct path, an easier path for students to get there. So that's one of the key benefits. And also we're able to collaborate with your faculty and staff to make sure that you are prepared well, so when you come to the DO school, you don't face any struggles that way.
Yeah.
And we can also provide that feedback to your faculty and staff as far as how students are doing, and that all benefits everyone. So.
Perfect. So you're in constant communication between our staff and your staff, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
So students are going to start by applying to the university program.
All right.
So they're going to apply to come to study here, biomedical sciences, biological sciences, chemistry, something along those lines that'll get them interested in the medical field. That can even be something along the lines of psychology as well.
All right.
From there, they're going to apply for the Master's in Biomedical Sciences program that we have. They'll apply directly to NYITCOM, which is the school, of course, that's partnered with A-State. They will complete a personal statement. I believe it's a 3.0 minimum requirement for the GPA. And then there's going to be just a regular application as well. It's going to discuss a little bit about their preferences. There's going to be a few required letters of recommendation from faculty and from other experiences that you've had on top of that. And once they've completed those, we will go through a review, we'll do an interview, and then they will be able to begin with us.
All right, perfect. So the steps are, in a general way,
Yes.
Simple, sort of simple.
Mm-hmm.
Steps, right?
Very straightforward, absolutely.
And for the master's program, we've done a few things to also eliminate the hurdles for students.
All right.
So the GPA, I think, acceptance is 2.75, and we no longer require the MCAT.
Right.
Okay.
And if you can achieve a certain level of percentage in the classes, you would not even have to take the MCAT for the DO program either.
Right.
So
All
you
right.
go through-
Which is an unusual step in it when it comes to moving into a medical program. A lot of biomedical master's programs do still require a GRE, which is an entrance examination, or the MCAT score. So not having that removes a significant barrier potentially to students who may not test quite as well, but are going to be significant, excellent physicians eventually.
All right.
You know, they have the skills, they have the knowledge, may not perform quite as well in an MCAT, but are otherwise going to be amazing.
Yeah, but it's perfect and awesome to now know that there's a pathway for Mexican students to be doctors in the U.S. and in an international way, right?
So there's a couple of ways to get into the DO program. You can get into the program directly if you have the MCAT scores and the minimum GPA and all the pre-med classes.
Yeah.
Or you can go through the pathway of the master's program, the biomedical sciences. So there's two paths that way. And like I said, with the biomedical sciences, you get more preparation, and if you maintain your grades, you don't need the MCAT, so that takes away that hurdle. The MCAT hurdle is a big hurdle for some students. I've seen students where they take the MCATs 9 times, and the score is almost within 1 or 2 points. So they keep trying and trying and trying, and 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, and they try to get to medical school, and they can't do it because that one exam.
Yeah.
Right.
So removing that hurdle and actually giving them the tools that are necessary to succeed in medical school is huge by doing that in 1 year, and now they're much better prepared for DO school.
Right.
Okay.
As far as options to DO school, regardless, to begin with, for where BMS left off, so you mentioned that we had reserve seating for students that are kind of some of our top performers into that program, generally about 80% plus, but the students that still pass still have access, even if they aren't necessarily getting a direct bridge into the program, they still have access to preferred admissions. They're going to get a guaranteed interview into the program.
Right.
So they're still going to have those benefits as long as they do well in the program overall. Now, as far as getting into the program, generally, students will complete that MCAT, right, that medical entrance exam in the United States. They will complete an ACOMAS application, which is a 2-step application. So it's a primary application initially. which covers your transcripts. It's going to have your letters of recommendation, which will be 2 from faculty, 1 from your from a medical experience that you've had, and you're welcome to add more than that. You write a personal essay or personal statement, which is an explanation of your interest in medicine, your history, what you want to do, where you want to go eventually. You will also include a resume of all of your experiences, not only those related to medical education, but things related to community outreach, volunteer work, even what jobs you've had, just to show that you can manage the rigors of study and work at the same time, which is, it's going to get very rigorous during medical school, of course. Once you've completed that primary application, afterwards you complete a secondary application for NYITCOM specifically. So for that secondary application, it's going to be a series of questions about choosing the campus for coming to Arkansas, but then also specific questions about why the NYITCOM program at Arkansas State University is interesting to you. Why is it beneficial? You know, what are you hoping to get from it? What is your mission as a physician? What do you think we can give back to you as a student who's seeking to work with us? That tells us who you are. It gives us extra context. Once we have both of those applications, which, by the way, those are going to go generally from May to March. So if you are applying for this program that is beginning in August of 2026, you will apply between this coming May of 2025 through March of 2026, and it'll always be slightly stair-stepped that way.
All right.
Once you've done that, you've finished the application, I call you back for an interview. You do an interview with one of our members of faculty virtually, though we may also bring back some in-person interviews fairly soon as well. Once you've completed that portion, the admissions committee gets together, does a final review on your application, and we move you forward from there.
Okay, so basically our students are going to be entirely prepared for this next steps, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So we were talking about, when we talk about this application, the ACOMAS application, it is holistic. So what we mean by that is we are not just going to look at GPA and MCAT and like call it a day, put you aside, say, oh, okay, they got the required number of letters of recommendation, they sent their transcripts in, we're good here. What we're going to do is we're going to take those transcripts that you send us, we're going to open them up and we're going to look at your academic history. How have you performed over time? What courses have you taken? Especially when we're looking at sciences, those are going to play a role. Mission is huge for us. So I mentioned that secondary application has questions related to NYITCOM itself. One of those questions is about what your mission is. What do you want to accomplish as a physician? What do you want to accomplish as a medical student? What have you accomplished so far? This is core to kind of who you want to be eventually, right? Do you want to serve rural medical students? Do you want to come back to Querétaro and serve the community around here? You know, where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? That will tell us so much about kind of whether or not you will fit with their program. Ultimately, when you're looking at medical school, the extracurricular programs are going to be a significant part of that choice. So a lot of our programming is related to getting involved with underserved communities, right? So if that is a community that you want to get involved in, you're more likely to take part in those opportunities, you're more likely to be enthralled and enjoy those communities, and we get a better student out of it as well, one who is more involved, more invested. So that is going to be a huge thing. Other than that, medical, I mentioned that there was a resume portion.
Yep.
The resume portion is generally going to have, like I said, your volunteer experience, it's going to have your work experience, it's going to have your medical experience, and then general extracurriculars that you can add on that, things that you do, have fun, right? If you do, are you in a sport, do you have a hobby, whatever it is. When you put those in, we are going to take those into account for your application as well. You need to have some of those experiences. Health experience is of course going to be a major portion, research is going to be major, but aside from that, I mentioned before that it's huge that you get involved with your community. At NYITCOM at Arkansas State University, a huge thing that we are looking at is how do you get involved with the community, because a lot of our physicians go on to be pillars of community, somebody that the people can trust, people can get involved with. We want to see that you're already taking steps to get involved. As long as you are along that path and those match up, you will be an excellent candidate for the program.
All right, so there you have it. You have the best advice from the admissions staff to make it to the NYIT. Perfect. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I believe so. There are some scholarship opportunities for both programs that you can independently apply to, and our hope is to also work on some of those in relationship to A-State.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. So when you enter into the DO program, there's access potentially to federal loans. That's something that we're still trying to discover kind of the extent of for students that are coming from Querétaro. Besides that, we also have institutional scholarships. And then there are additional programs when you're in the DO school as well to take on a concurrent degree. So if you wanted to add another master's degree for a specific specialization, for example, we do one for clinical nutrition. We have an MBA degree that helps you with starting your own clinic from the business side. Some of those programs also have additional scholarship opportunities as well. So one of those would be, we have an academic medicine scholars program. This is an additional year, so you do your 2 years in medical school, you have your 4 years, of course. This will be right between all 4 years, right in the middle. During that year, you are learning to teach medicine. You are learning to apply it in a collegiate setting. You're doing research. That program has a scholarship that will cover that year and the last 2 years of your medical education through. We're also one of 12 programs currently in the United States that offers a DO PhD program, which is an extremely selective program. Typically about a handful of students are chosen for it. For this one, it's 7 years. So it's 2 years of your lectures and labs, then you pause, do 3 years of your dissertation and research for the PhD, you're awarded that PhD. Then you do 2 years of your clinical rotations and you get your DO. For that program, the entirety of the program is full ride. If you're accepted for it, all tuition and fees for all 7 years are covered, and you have, during your 3 years of dissertation and research, we also offer a living stipend as well during that time.
Wow.
So it's an extremely competitive program, but I think there could be some excellent opportunities for students from Querétaro to come up for that.
Perfect. That sounds really good. It's pretty interesting to know how is this pathway connecting with helping people, right?
Absolutely.
Institutions are here to make this world better, and I know this collaboration between Arkansas State and the NYIT is perfect for us. It's perfect for Mexico. It's perfect for the universities because we are revolutioning this the school in Mexico, right? This is perfect.
One of the things we always recommend our students to do is to shadow physicians. If you're not sure what medicine is about, you set up time where you can actually be with a physician and go with them to clinic, go with them to the hospital, and get to experience that so you know exactly what they do every day in their life. And that could cement your thought about, okay, well, this is really what I like to do. Working with patients, with people that are sick, making them feel better. And so that's usually one of the important things. Sometimes it's a requirement of medical schools that you have shadowing experience.
Yeah.
And because that tells them, otherwise you're going into a field that's almost unknown.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't want to just get into it because I just want to be a doctor. You want to see really what people do. And that's, I think, be my main advice.
Yeah. All right.
Additionally, along with that, physicians are humanitarians, right? So it doesn't, definitely going and shadowing can be a great way if you have an idea of wanting to go into health and medicine. But even if you're still deciding if you want to look into health and medicine in general, whether it be nursing or EMT or physician or whatever the case, just getting involved with your community, getting that sense of giving back can often ignite your passions for wanting to help people, and that can lead into that path of wanting to explore medical education. Just getting students out into the community and getting them involved is a great first step for students who are still unsure entirely what they want to do to get them along that path.
All right, so in that case, the general studies program that Arkansas State provide can also help the students to make decisions while they're still on track, right?
Yeah, and going through the biomedical master's program will also expose them to a lot of those opportunities when they're still trying to decide what direction they want to go.
All right.
If they're thinking, part of a bridge program is of course we want it to lead to DO, we're really hoping to lead to physician, but it also opens up opportunities through the research that you have in the program to go into a PhD. If you're thinking about maybe, I'm interested in this path, but maybe not quite wanting to practice, that can be an excellent direction to go. Being a PA, for example, can be great. There's many, many different ways that you can take the program as well, but of course we're hoping for physicians at the end.
So there were multiple challenges. One of them is, you're facing a novel virus that people did not know how to deal with, how to treat.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of strain on the medical profession. Your number of people that were sick were getting very high. Hospitals running out of beds.
Yeah.
People are running out of medications. So there was tons of challenges faced. There was also the challenge of communication. You couldn't go anywhere, right? So people were staying in their homes. How do you communicate? How do you teach medical students in the middle of a pandemic when they can't show up to class?
Yeah.
So NYIT was positioned well even before the pandemic because we are two campuses. We have a campus in New York and a campus in Jonesboro. And we already communicated all the time. So when I used to lecture in Jonesboro, I would also lecture to the students in New York and vice versa. And so for us, that technology already existed. We had a lot of our meetings virtual, and so we just basically moved right into it. So in that sense, we were, other people were scrambling to do that. This was part of our culture, right? So that sets us much easier to handle it.
So the students didn't stop learning during the
No, we never stopped ever.
All right.
Going immediately. And nowadays, even if we have something like a weather-related issue where there's snow, we immediately go virtual, and it's almost as quick as saying, doctor-patient relationship lab is virtual on Tuesday. And,
all right. So is there a possibility for our students in Arkansas State to have, for example, a conference that you're giving in New York and they can connect online?
Absolutely. Yeah. We can do it now. I mean, I know I've done information sessions with the students here before from Arkansas, and that's, we even have the same time frame, which is Central Standard Time almost. So in a sense, it's not even challenging where, if it's day there, it's night here. Yeah. And so, it's actually pretty seamless.
Right. And one of the benefits with having the two locations that Dr. Slieman was touching on is the fact that we have our own faculty, we have our own staff, our own location, all of our own labs and everything to do a lot of our core curriculum, but there are so many other opportunities, like you said, to be able to have a conference or to be able to have access to research or other programs, extracurricularly with the New York program as well. So we do have students that will oftentimes say they want to do research, there's something that catches their eye in New York, they have the opportunity to be able to travel there during the summer to conduct that research, come back to Arkansas. It opens up a lot of opportunities, not only between NYITCOM in New York and us in Arkansas, but also Arkansas State University itself as a four-year institution, and also with NYITCOM's undergraduate program as well. So that opens up, that's 4 schools with Querétaro, that's 5 schools now that we're able to work with all sorts of programs.
Sounds pretty good.
One thing I want to add to what's kind of unique for NYIT is when we started the school, we pioneered telehealth. And so that's something where physicians can actually see patients through a camera, video.
At a life-size scale.
Life-size scale.
Yes, so a one-on-one scale.
Correct. So if you walk into a room, you can actually see the physician standing there. First time I saw that, and I was like, this person's there. So I reached out, and there was actually a screen. There was almost a 3-dimensional screen, so it almost feels like they're there until you see the screen. And so then, in the pandemic, a lot of other people adopted telehealth. And a lot of now medicine in the United States is done, especially like counseling, psychiatry, is done by telehealth. It makes it a lot easier and simpler and quicker. You can also reach remote areas easier instead of having a patient drive 3 hours just to see a physician. So we were already doing that. That's part of our training for our students. We train them in telehealth. They have a program.
Additionally, because of COVID, it opened up a number of opportunities to grow programs such as the telehealth that we had already been using that can be utilized outside of the context of COVID. So for example, in Arkansas, we are serving rural populations very often, low-income populations that don't have access to clinics, oftentimes within 30, 45 minutes away, which can be a problem sometimes when you're trying to get primary care. So by having telemedicine, by making that program more robust during COVID, we're able to take that program and utilize it effectively for rural applications afterwards. So there's all kinds of ways that COVID definitely was a barrier in many ways, but it also was a way to open up innovation for ways to improve medicine overall in a technological sense.
Perfect. So COVID didn't stop you. You were innovating to create different things to make it happen, right? To continue with this approach with people.
No, this is a pathway exclusive now only for A-State Querétaro.
Okay.
Yeah, and even acceptance into the master's program as far as national students is only exclusive for students from Querétaro only.
Okay, so is there if there's people interested in becoming a doctor in osteopathic, the only pathway that they have right now is going through A-State Querétaro, then to New York Institute, and then they can be.
Yes, that's the only now pathway available.
All right, well, perfect. Thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure for us to have you here. You're welcome. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.